So my name is Stan Fry. I'm an image comp chair this year. I will be presenting the images this evening, hopefully in a good, timely fashion. I'm sitting in for Nick. Nick is in New York doing some business. We have three illustrious judges with us tonight. We have Craig Stampley, we have Colin Bushell, and Casey Newman, which some of you are all familiar with Casey. Casey's judged before, and I think Craig judged last year for us. So this is Colin's first time. I'm going to let Craig talk first and tell us a little bit about himself, then Colin, and then Casey, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so Craig, take her away.
Thank you very much. Craig Stampley. I'm based here in Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. I am a commercial photographer, mainly doing a lot of architectural work and real estate work, the odd product photography and corporate headshots. And for fun, I do a lot of underwater portraiture, mainly during the summer months, and a bit of automotive photography as well. So I try and do a little bit of everything where I can and enjoy doing it.
Thanks. All right. Thank you, Craig. Thanks for joining us tonight from Australia. Colin?
Thank you. I'm Colin Bushell, originally from London in England, and now living also in Brisbane in Australia. I'm the Vice President of the Professional Photographers Association of Queensland. I come from a photojournalism background. I teach photography here in Queensland, and along with Craig, we've been known to take people out on photography tours and safaris. I also do some corporate branding work and headshots as well. And yeah, I'm normally overseas 2 or 3 months of the year, but for some reason that's not happening this year.
All right. And Casey Newman. Mr. Casey?
Yeah, yes. I have had a portrait and commercial studio in the Inland Empire area for 25 plus years. And now I'm traveling and currently based in Washington, trying to get through the pandemic and the ravaging wildfires. And normally I would win the prize for farthest away from where the competition is, but not this competition.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. So we're going to get started here. So I am going to concentrate on the slideshow right now and getting everything going. So we're doing something different yet again this year. We're not, this month I say, we're not sharing the slides.com slideshow. We're showing it in Zoom because we missed that piece last month and it didn't get recorded and it took a while to edit it all back together, but we finally did. So we are streaming now, and the first category is children. There is only one image, I believe, in this category. So the first image is Little Princess. Little Princess. Judges, you may score.
Do I need to change that to everybody?
What's that?
Yeah.
You need to score in the chat window.
But I think I had it on only Bruce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 all panelists.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I got Casey. I've got Craig. Okay. Scores are in. Waiting for the final tally. Final score is a 78. Craig, would you like to talk about this image?
Sure, no problem. Firstly, I think the lighting is very, very good on this. Really happy with the tones and the color, and the separation from the subject to the wallpaper to the backdrop. The only thing that sort of niggles me is the horizon level, or the level of the floor at the back is not level. And I would have liked if the chair was sort of straight. It's sort of at an angle there's a bit of an angle. It could either be more angled or needs to be straight on. and I think it needs to be straight on in this case. Love the pose, holding her hands nice and gentle. I think possibly her eyes, rather than looking at the camera, could have been sort of looking off to camera left so that we would see a little bit of white on either side of the pupil. But still, it's a lovely, lovely calm pose. Beautiful little girl sitting there. Obviously, looks like she's enjoying the having her photo taken. So very well done. It's just a few things I would possibly change.
Okay, so we have one image for review. That's this image. So does you guys need to vote in the panel whether the score stays the same, yes, or it becomes a merit. Okay, thank you. The score stays the same. So we're going to move on. The next category is commercial. And there's one sole image in commercial, and it is rainbow raindrops. Rainbow raindrops. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Final score in 81. Colin, would you like to give us your comments on this image?
Yeah, look, it's very dynamic. I really like that background. is very vibrant, and the black outfit and the blonde hair and the goggles, they really make it pop. So from that point of view, I really like it. I think my couple of observations would be that I think the pose could be less at right angles to the camera, so that the left arm is not completely missing past the elbow. So there's some evidence of that. And also the mask reflections, not aware of necessarily what the commercial aspect or use of this finally would be, but that's obviously a significant part of the image, is what's being reflected in there, and that's not really defined for me as to what that is going on in there, and perhaps should have been considered with regard to the final image.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to be moving to our next category, which is digital artistry. And the first image in digital artistry is "He holds my heart with his hands." He holds my heart with his hands. Judges, please score. All right, scores are in. Final score is an 82. Casey, would you like to talk about this image?
Absolutely. My score is 82. And I really think that there's some really nice storytelling aspects to this image once you know the title. I like the graphic design nature of what's going on in the image, the fact that the bottom photo has been converted to this, sort of tells a story. I really like that, the storytelling, the impact for the image for me are really strong. So I was 82 in the merit category.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. Next up in digital artistry is Daydream Afternoon. Daydream Afternoon. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Final score is a 78. Craig, would you mind talking about this image and why you scored it as such?
No problem. I scored it a 78, so that works well. Nice relax. So this is a composite, and I'm guessing it's the background that's been added in afterwards. Few little issues with the depth of field, I think, throughout the image, but and probably a bit too much shadow in the middle there, but very relaxed pose, you know, attractive woman, very relaxed. It's a couple of things with the feet, I think a little bit soft as well. So there's a little bit of work that's been done that probably needs to be tidied up.
Okay, thank
So
you very much.
Struggling on this one.
All right, next up in digital artistry is Elegant Beauty. Elegant Beauty. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 79. Okay, Colin, would you like to talk about this image and why you scored it as such?
Yep, thank you. I gave this an 80. Look, it's a very simple, clean, well executed sort of transference of that original image into something more modern and striking, and I like that aspect. I like the background's quite nice, although I wouldn't have perhaps that circular sort of vignette on the bottom there looks a bit harsh. That sort of turns from being sort of a misty sort of background into more of a sort of a fog. I think that's a bit uneven and that's a bit distracting for me. And also some of the smoothness of the image is a little bit too smooth in places. I would have liked to see a little bit more texture, but as an interpretation of that original photograph, I think the photographer has done a good job.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. Next up in digital artistry is Lonely Bird. Lonely Bird. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 79. Casey, would you mind taking this one and give us your thoughts?
Yes, I was a 78 on this image. And when it first popped up, I really wanted to like it. And the longer I spent with it, it kind of fell off for me. The light, first of all, it's a very interesting interpretation of this flower. I think that the composition is an interesting test. My problem is the light feels a little flat on the subject. I would like to see a little bit of some modeling or something to give it a little bit more form and texture. Just something, it just feels very flat and one-dimensional. And the way that the flower is composed, it kind of cuts the image across right in half vertically with a lot of empty space on the bottom. And that's just not working for me. It's so much space down there. I think a significant crop off the bottom, and I would like this a lot more. So 78 for me.
Thank you very much, Casey. Next up in digital artistry is ringlet of colored leaves. Ringlet of colored leaves. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Final score is an 83. Craig, would you mind commenting on why you scored the way you did?
No problem at all. I think I went what did I go? I think I went an 83. So there you go. Really very peaceful, very beautiful. They've done very well with the symmetry. Everything lines up from what I can see. Often with these, it's easy enough to get something not quite lining up, and I think we've done a very, very good job. I do love the color palette. Very harmonious, really, really lovely. Not sure about the key line. To me, it doesn't look even. We've got different color, different thicknesses. I'm not sure if that's because of slides or what have you, but a really beautiful image. Very well done.
Thank you very much, Craig. Next up in the digital artistry category is Calla Lily at 3 p.m. Calla Lily at 3 p.m. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 70.
And your voice has gone a little fuzzy.
I can't do anything about it, you know it, so can somebody else put 78, 76, I can't, 70, I can't read it.
The score is a 76.
Okay. Could you comment on that?
Yep, sorry, I'm struggling to hear a little bit, but yeah, so I scored this a 76. Initially, when I saw it, I was like, wow, and it's quite, you know, it's quite striking on the eye, but I'm not over keen on a couple of things. One is the flower, the ultimate flower that reveals itself from the spin of the wheel. In my mind, needs to be sharper. It's the rest of the pictures is sharp and you're drawn from the inside out, but when you get to the subject matter itself, it's way too soft. And whether it's just my eyes, but I think also the stem doesn't seem to be going into the center of the black hole in the middle. It seems to be slightly offset to the left, which in terms of an image which is projecting uniformity and travel, I feel just lets it down a little bit as well.
Thank you very much. We have 3 images for review. I'm going to bring them up. First one is Daydream Afternoons. The original score was a 78. The score stay the same. Score stays the same. Okay, next up is Elegant Beauty. Elegant Beauty. Becomes a merit. Congratulations. Okay, and I believe that was the last one. So next up,
Lonely Bird also needs to be done.
what number is that? I don't.
Number
Oh,
13.
13. Okay, sorry. There we go. Becomes a merit. Congratulations. So let's get back to where we need to be. Next category is illustrative. Illustrative. First image in illustrative is Pretty in Purple. Pretty in Purple. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 79. Let's see, I believe Craig, you're up for this one for your comments.
No problem at all. Very pretty, very, very dainty. I like the purple and the mauve. That works very, very well. And then with the green coming off to the left-hand side. I do actually like how the flower petals are hanging over the mat. I like that effect. I think the texture of the petals needs to be a little bit sharper. Still looks, I realize they're a soft petal, but I think we need to be able to see a little bit more structure, a little bit more detail. But other than that, I quite like it. Very beautiful.
Thank you very much. The next image in illustrative is red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Judges, please score. Scores in. Final score is an 81. Colin, would you mind giving us your thoughts?
Sure, I gave this an 80. You know, I like it. It's a very dynamic capture, which is great. And from my point of view, the only thing would be, from a compositional point of view, is a slight change in the way that's cropped. I appreciate that you know, normally you'd have the objects moving into some negative space, but you do have the tail of smoke when that's important in part of the image. But I think those are slightly higher where the aeroplanes are up into the image. It's a bit more into the top left-hand corner. May have given a bit more sort of sense of altitude and a sense of height in the image. And just a little bit more sort of brightness in the aeroplanes this side. Again, appreciating that dark objects with a bright background are difficult. but a little bit more brightness in the aeroplanes. But otherwise, it's a dynamic image that captures exactly what was going on. It's good.
Thank you, Colin. Next up in illustrative is the finest city. The finest city. Judges, please score. Score is in. Final score is a 77. Casey, would you mind commenting on this one?
No, I am at 78 on this. A very nice image. It may very well be the finest city. Who knows? The black and white is done very, very well. I think that the blacks all through the scale is present and looks nice and crisp and sharp and clean. My issue with the image was there's some pretty apparent banding in the sky, particularly on the right around the building area, that I think is a pretty major distraction, and I can't get the image into merit category with that much banding, so I had to be lower than that. 78 for me.
Okay, the next one in illustrative is strutting along. Strutting along. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 84. I believe, Colin, you're up next.
My turn, Craig.
Oh, Craig's turn. Okay.
That's all right.
It's fine.
This is really cool. I like this. I love the minimalist look to it, and I really like the title that accompanied the image. They did that very, very well. Just a beautiful image. Very, very. You've got the main subject, and then just a little bit of a minor distraction to the left-hand side, which I think is good to have. I think possibly a little bit more, just to decrease the shadows on the darker purpler feathers would have been nice, but otherwise I think it's a very good image. The eye looks tack sharp. A lot of detail for what we're looking at. They've done very well.
Thank you.
And great reflection as well.
All right. Next up in illustrative is letting go. Letting go. Judges, please score. Okay, final score is an 80. Colin, I believe it's yours this time.
Yeah. So, look, it's a beautiful image. It's it's excellently put together in terms of its composition. I like the title and its association with the pedals falling. That's very nice indeed. It's simple, not distracting. The way it's coming from the bottom of the frame and heading towards the top right-hand corner is great. It's it's a nice, simple execution and a beautiful photo.
Thank you very much. Next up in the illustrative is Morning Reprise. Morning Reprise. Judges, please score. Final score is an 84. I believe Casey, you're up.
Yeah, I was at 83 for this image. Really nicely done. I love the storytelling aspect, the composition, the light exposure, the really nice on the face and all throughout the image. The way the background has been, I'm assuming, brought down so that it doesn't compete with anything happening in the front, and the subject is really terrifically handled. Nice subtle presentation that doesn't pull away from the image at all. And just under the next category for me. Really well done. The thing that kept me from going a little higher is I'm struggling to see that it's tack sharp on the subject, the face. Could be just me, but I'm not confident enough in that to be able to bump it up that extra notch. So 83 for me.
Thank you. Next up in the illustrative is Twin Cactus Flowers. Twin Cactus Flowers. Judges, please score. Final score is a 78. Craig, would you mind commenting?
For sure. Very, very delicate. There's so much detail, particularly in the lower right flower. You start looking for what could be in there. I like the slightly subtle, subdued, the decrease of saturation, that sort of thing. The pink really works really well with that, with a muted green in the back. Very little I would fault this with. I really do enjoy it. They've done very well.
All right. Next image in illustrative is Molten Waterfall. Molten Waterfall. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 78. Casey?
I think it was me on this one, but
Is it Bruce? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Colin.
that's okay. I've scored it an 80. I really like it. I like the colours. I like the the symmetry is done superbly. The title was good. The greys at the bottom half of the picture really sort of complement the bright colours. Yeah, it's a very very dynamic and engaging illustration.
Okay, next up and illustrative is Village Sun. Village Sun. Please score. Final score is an 86. Casey?
Yes, I was 90 on this image. I think that's an exquisite portrait, an exquisite illustration. The lighting is unbelievably sophisticated and well handled. Love the color palette. The monochrome nature of the image is fantastic. I'm not sure where the flaws might be. The background is subtle and soft and doesn't detract from the image. A nice simple presentation. I think that I'm struggling to find a flaw here. So 90 for me.
Okay, thank you very much. Next image and illustrative is Solitary Sentry. Solitary Sentry. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Final score is a 77. Craig, I believe you're up.
No problem. Interesting subject matter. I'm struggling how it's a black and white as well as a sepia. I'm not sure if I need to broaden my horizons or not, but it seems to be the subject is nice, a black and white subject. And then we've got like a sepia background, sepia sky. I think it's possibly been a little bit over sharpened, but it actually does work. I'm just struggling with a couple of the elements. That's all. I'm not sure if it's, oh no, it's perfectly, yeah. It looks like it's just about in the middle. Something like this, I think we need to make sure that the subject ends up right in the middle. But overall, pretty cool.
All right, thank you. Next up in illustrative is Strand by Strand. Strand by Strand. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Bruce or Annette?
82.
Final score is an 82. Colin?
Yeah, look, it's actually, I've given it an 80. I like the slightly sort of looser dynamism of this particular shot compared to some of the other illustrative ones, but it still remains that excellent symmetry. It may be just me, but it could be a little bit sharper. It looks a little bit soft throughout the whole image. But the fact that you initially look at it and it looks particularly sort of all over the place, the more you look at it, the more you see those kind of interesting sort of symmetrical sort of areas, and the coloration from the greens in the middle out to the golden edges, I think is it's an interesting approach and a good result.
Well, thank you very much for your comments. Next up, and illustrative, is chemtrails. Chemtrails. Judges, please score. Okay, scores are in. Final score is, Bruce?
I'm having a problem with the computer right now.
Okay, so Annette, final score is
81.
81. Casey, would you mind talking about this?
I was 79 on this image. Terrific choice of subject. I love the colorful plane. The smoke that he's leaving behind is great. I really like the choice to have the plane moving up in the frame. I think that's impactful. Overall, I think that the impact of the image wasn't quite enough for me to be in the merit category with it. I think it's a really nice image, but not a merit image. So I just was on the borderline at 79.
Thank you very much. Final image in the illustrative category is yellow bells. Yellow bells. Final score is
78.
78. Craig?
Whereas I scored it a 78. Tack sharp, I do like that. I'm not sure about the background. It seems to change too much. I sort of like the white in the middle. If that sort of carried up and down, I think it would have been a little bit better. Also, I think it's a little bug there, sort of in the middle of the image. It's not quite sharp enough. We don't get enough detail. So I think I might have either worked on that to make it more obvious what it is, or just removed it altogether, if possible.
All right. Next category is landscape. The first image in the landscape category
Images
is...
for review. We didn't do the images.
Oh, that's right. We have images for review. That's right. Bruce, are we ready for that, or does Annette have it?
I have it. The first image is twin cactus flowers, number 23.
Number 23, twin cactus flowers. Okay, 23.
Stays the same.
Stays the same. Next one. What was that, Annette?
Bolton Waterfall,
Number?
24.
24. Okay. Molten Waterfall. Becomes a merit.
Next one is Yellow Bells, number 29.
Okay, number 29, Yellow Bells. Stays the same. Okay. Next category is landscape. First image is La Jolla Essence. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Annette? Annette? We losing everybody?
It's a 79.
All right.
Final?
The score is 79.
Okay. So where do we leave off at? Is it Colin next?
Yeah. I gave this a 79. Look, it's obviously a striking piece of landscape. The geological formation at the foreground there is eminently photographable, if that's a word. I would say that my only observation would be that the horizon seems very harsh compared to the two halves of the image. Very soft top, very harsh bottom, and the horizon to me looks like it's either been I don't know, it looks very different lines, like almost a very straightly drawn line. Doesn't look in keeping with the softness of the rest of the surrounds of the water and the sky. But it's a very dramatic place, and it's been well captured.
Well, thank you very much. Next up in landscape is Lake Como. Lake Como. Judges, please score. Annette or Kim?
78. 78.
Final score is a 78. So Casey, want to comment on this one?
Yeah, I was at 77 on this. Really terrific location, and I think that the composition is interesting on this. My issue is the time of day and the light available is a little flat and doesn't do your location justice. I think you need to have some quality landscape light for this location. So 77 for me.
Thank you, Casey. Next up in landscape is idyllic. Idyllic. Judges, please score. Final score is a 78. Okay, let's see who spoke last. I believe that was Colin, right? So Casey?
Great to go.
Craig
Yeah, I
again.
just
Oh,
went-
Craig. All right. Keep
That's right,
forgetting
I mean,
Craig, yeah.
I'm easily forgotten. Wow, I love the title. Just a sense of serenity and calm, and then whatever. Colin will be able to tell me what bird this is. I have no idea, apart from a white feathered one. It's strutting its stuff. Just very peaceful. I like it. I like I love the color palette as well. Everything's a little bit muted, and then you've got this white bird popping out. Highlights maybe down the bottom, the reflection or the water might need to be dealt with a little bit more. But otherwise, yeah, I really like it. I think I gave it an 80, to be honest.
Thank you. Next
Say
up,
it's a heron.
It's a heron. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's an egret, right? So next up is in landscape is the rock. The rock. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 78. So, Colin, I believe you're up next.
Yeah, so I gave this a 79. It's a very nice composition, obviously with a long exposure, but taking up on Casey's point of photograph a couple of photos ago, I think this is largely about time of day and light vibrancy, and I think that the long exposure and the time of day has really made quite a flat, a pretty reasonably dull image. I think that's a different type of day with some more vibrancy, and it would have taken it up to that definitely that next level. But it's a nice composition. I think that would be my only comment on the overall impression of it.
Well, thank you, Colin. Next up in landscape is Peaceful Monastery. Peaceful Monastery. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 76, is that? All right. Casey?
I was at 76 for this. Certainly an interesting building and an interesting location. For me, again, I think that there's a time of day issue going on here. In addition, it feels a little heavy on the right. I can't tell 100% whether the image is leaning a little bit, tilted a little bit that way. If you try to look for a flat parallel line, like maybe the well there, it feels a little lower on the right to me than it does on the left. But so I don't know, it just has a feeling like of heaviness on the right that I think comes from not being a little lower.
I was scrounging images.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't either.
But primarily, it's a time of day thing. There's just not enough drama at this particular time, and not enough interest in the light to really make this image pop.
All right. Thank you very much. Next up in landscape is Bride Where History Was Made. Bride Where History Was Made.
It should be Bridge Where History Was Made. bridge where history was made.
Okay, well, I guess they had a spelling error in the file. So we literally took everything over. So bridge where history was made. Final score is a 76. Craig, this is yours.
Okay. It's I'm struggling. It's not quite vertical. It looks like it's leaning a little bit to the right. So I think the flagpoles need to be straightened up. And I'm not sure about the texture in the sky, if that's been overly sharpened or filtered or whatever. It's possibly a sky replacement that hasn't gone quite as well as possible. Yeah, it's a location that could be worked on and improved on. I think it just needs to be straightened to begin with, and just do something with the sky. It doesn't work for me.
Oh, thank you. Next up in landscape is Mossy Falls. Mossy Falls. Judges, please score. Final score is an 81. Colin?
Yeah, I gave this, actually gave this an 81. It's very powerful. It's nicely framed and nicely cropped. So you've got just enough of the sort of mossy detail on the rocks around the edges, and the water is nice and smooth. I'm personally not a fan of overly smooth waterfalls, as Craig will tell you. So maybe could have dropped that off a little bit in terms of the exposure time. And if I'm being particularly fussy, just a few little sort of areas up there at a higher bit of the waterfall, a few marks that are kind of slightly distracting in the water, leaves or things that have got trapped. But overall, it's a powerful and well constructed waterfall image.
Okay, that was the final image in the landscape category. Are there any images for review?
Yes, we have 4.
There's one more image in landscape.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Final image in landscape is Villa de la Villa. Villa de la Villa. Final score is a 76. Casey?
Sure, it's my turn, isn't it? I was I was 75 on this. I think that there's good images to be made here at this location. I'm not sure this is one of them. And it's not the right time of day to be doing it. There's just not a quality subject or center of interest here. There's nothing for me to focus on. There's a lot of unnecessary foreground that doesn't lend anything of interest to the image. And it probably needs to be printed down a little bit. It's a little, it feels a little hot to me. So I think that you need to really, this kind of photography is all about the quality of light that your subject is falling on your subject. So you got to wait for those times. You got to find them, and that's what this image needs.
Thank you very much. So we have some images for review.
Yes, we have 4. The first one is La Jolla Essence, number 31.
Number 31. La Jolla Essence. Stays the same.
Next one is Lake Como, number 32.
Stays the same.
The next one is Idyllic, number 33.
Stays the same.
The last one is The Rock, number 34.
Stays the same. We're going to take a short break right now. And when we come back, nature will be the next category. Okay, we missed a file to review in illustrative. Pretty in purple. I'm going to bring it up, and you just need to, if it stays the same or becomes a merit. Pretty in purple. Stays the same. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next category, which is nature. First up in nature is Sandhill Dancer. Sandhill Dancer. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 85. Let's see, where did we leave off? I believe Casey was the last one. So Craig?
You're on mute, Craig.
Sorry about that. Great positioning. I love the central position of this. It works really, really well. And I think this is a case of waiting for the perfect light. And here we've got the light on the face of the bird, face of the bird and its beak, and then sort of glowing through the feathers. Very well done. The edges of the feathers on the left-hand side look a little bit soft, but the head and the neck and the center portion of the bird look very, very sharp. Very happy with that. Very well done. Yeah.
Thank you. The next image in the nature category is waiting. Waiting. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 86. Colin, would you like to talk about this one?
Yeah, I gave this an 89. I really like it. It really puts you in the action. It's really sharp, nice depth of field control there. I'm not sure whether this was in the wild or in some area, but it certainly captures the essence of being in the wild, and it's fantastic for that perspective. An observation and nothing else would be maybe the vantage point could have been slightly lower. And although those leaves sticking up at the front do present sort of a subject for the spider to be moving towards, which I'd like, I think a slightly lower angle on the spider and slightly more space above and less below would have given it even more power and dynamism. But they're small points, but overall it's a cracking shot.
Thank you very much. Next up in nature is nest building time. Nest building time. Judges, please score. The score is in. The final score is an 82. An 82. Casey?
I was at 81 on this. Nice moment, a good capture by the maker. Bird is crisp and clear and sharp, and I like that. A little bit of storytelling in there, along with the nice competition. The bird being lower in the frame, I think, not being centered, I think is a good choice. So for me, in the merit category, but kind of just barely.
All right, thank you. Next up in nature is first light. First light. Final score is a 75. Is that right? Okay, Craig?
I'm a huge fan of gulls. I always take photos of gulls when I see them. I think they're just cheeky characters, and I can imagine this pose or this position. I'm not sure it's something that I'm just sort of struggling with a little bit. Also, it seems a little bit soft. I'm not sure if it's like a painterly effect has been applied or toned down that way, but the detail just isn't there on the bird itself. And it's a little bit muted. Unusual capture, because again, we typically don't capture a gull looking like that. But yeah, it needs a little bit of work, I think.
All right, next up in nature, beetle breakfast. Beetle breakfast. Judges, please score. Final score is a 76. Colin?
Yeah, I like my birds, like Craig likes his gulls, and you know, to capture a bird like this with an insect of that size, it looks like in its talons is pretty impressive. I'm not entirely sure it's as sharp as it could be, and that sort of has dropped me down a point or two. But I actually quite like the background contrast, the way it's sort of gone into from the greens up into those kind of rusty browns, and so it does stand out from that. But nice positioning on the right hand side of the frame as well. Yeah, so generally, excellent to get that kind of action shot, and a little bit sharper would have taken it a bit further.
Thank you. Next up in nature is This Is My Territory. This is my territory. Judges, please score.
Hey.
Scores are in. Final score is
77.
77. Okay, Casey?
Yes, I was 78 on this. Honestly, this is, I think that this moment that's captured is really terrific. The language of the birds, the eye that caught this moment is really terrific. I love the separation from the background. Everything that's happening here as far as subject is great. I just think that there's no sharpness. If this were sharp, I'd be easily merit, maybe even into the next category. I just can't get there with them being so soft, almost universally soft. I'm looking for a spot of pinpoint sharpness, and I'm not finding one, so I can't go merit on that.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the last image in this category, and there are no images for review. So we're going to move on to the next category, photojournalism. And the first image in photojournalism is Happy Feet. Happy Feet. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 80. Okay, let's see. I believe, is it Craig's next?
Yep, my turn.
Yep.
Yep, I really like this image. I love the storytelling, and I love that we've got feet off the ground. Just the as you step back, it really beautiful. The editing is very pleasing. I think they should be very happy with how they've treated this. Just I love the overall detail. Even you can see the fans throughout the top, and you know what they are based on the ones that are focused. Yeah, just a really nice story. I love the angular momentum of it all. Really beautiful.
All right,
Really
thank you.
beautiful.
Then the next image in photojournalism is Jiggy Dog at speed. JD Beach exits turn 10 at Sonoma Raceway during Superbike testing.
Okay.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you just repeat that title for me, please?
Jiggy Dog at speed, yeah.
Yeah,
Damn it! Why didn't I say that?
absolutely.
Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 84. An 84. Colin?
Yeah, I gave this an 84. Yeah, apart from the title, which needs some serious condensing, but wow, I mean, it's right up there, in the action, and that's everything you can hope for in a shot, motorsport shot like this. I love the fact that it's all really, really sharp in that foreground, and you'll really feel you're leaning into it. And the background speed, the movement is got a nice bit of grain in there as well. That really adds to the separation between the image and the background. Look, it's really tightly cropped. Any suggestions about sort of bringing that out slightly would seem a little bit superfluous, but no, it's a very dynamic image. Like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next
well
up in photojournalism is Heroes in the Sky. Heroes in the Sky. Judges, please score. Final score is
76.
76. Thank you, Annette. Casey, I believe you're next.
Yes, I think I was 76. So I was at 76. I think that there is a good image here. I don't think that this is quite it. This is a really nice moment to have captured. I think that a tighter crop is going to help you a lot. If you just showing a little bit of the trees on the bottom and lose some of the sides and some sharpening. I think that the major problem is that the airplane is just not sharp. If that were tack sharp, you're all the way there. A little crop would get you a merit easy. So this, as it sits, I think you could rework this and get a merit out of it. As it shows right now, it's a 76.
Next up in photojournalism is daily task. Daily task. Okay. Final score is 79. 79. So I believe Craig, it's you.
Yep, my turn.
Yep.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think this may be an infrared that's been converted to black and white, which is why the sky is so dark, which works really well. I do think, though, that it's slightly leaning down to the left. But look at those shadows. It's really, it's tack sharp for the figure at the front. I really love that. And those shadows working their way through work really well. Possibly a little bit bright in the foreground, or sorry, on the women, but otherwise very nicely done.
Thank you, Craig. Next up in photojournalism is Lazy Lunch. Lazy Lunch. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 78. Colin?
Yeah, I gave this a 78. I'm assuming that this probably shot in captivity, and I think that the image needs it's obviously in terms of what it is and the subject matter, it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's good to see the teeth and the bones and that sort of thing, but I think it's a little bit flat in terms of the way it's been composed. There's distractions in the foreground in terms of those leaves and branches down the bottom right-hand corner, which are quite a distraction. A little bit of more sort of attention in terms of maybe a little bit of vignetting on the bear itself. But it's a nice snapshot of a moment in time. Yeah, it's a nice snapshot. That's about as far as I would go with that.
Thank you, Colin. And the final image in photojournalism is Jubilation. Simon Pagenaud wins the IndyCar Championship for Penske Racing. And I won't repeat it.
There's a trend with motorsport.
Yeah. Judges, please score. Final score is 79. 79. Casey?
I was right at 80 on this. I think in the journalism category, this is a quality capture. Tells a good story. Has the composition is interesting. I like a good moment. All the expressions are great. It is clearly the guy winning, and the penultimate moment of kissing the trophy. I think that's all. In this category, that's a winner. So for me, a merit.
Okay, thank you very much, Casey. We have 3 images for review in the photojournalism category. First image up is Daily Task. Daily Task. Oh, that's not right. It's not 50, guys. Let's see. Oh, what happened?
The one before that.
49? Nope.
Sorry, I meant the one after.
Okay. 52. There we go. No. Is that it? No, that's not it.
No, it should be between those two.
Slide 50.
50. Nope, that's not 50. Hold
should
on
be-
a second.
Should be
I'll find
between
it.
those two. Between that one and the bear.
No, I got it. There it is. It's right there.
No, that's
No.
not daily task.
There it
That's,
is.
that's daily task. That is
Yay.
daily task, yes. 51. Okay. Stays the same. Next one up is Lazy Lunch. Stays the same. And the next one up is Jubilation with the long title. Becomes a merit. Next up is portraiture. For some reason, I lost my little window. Let's see, there it is. So first up in portraiture is morning stretch. Morning stretch. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is 83. Let's see, Casey was last, so great.
What a gorgeous place to work. Really love this image. This is art for me. This is a genre that I try and work in when I can, and really like this image. The gentle curves, the solid colors, the inclusion of the female, really exceptionally well done. There's not much I can really fault, to be perfectly honest. I think it's just a very beautiful image.
Okay, so thank you very much for your comments. Next image in portrait is the offering. The offering. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 79. Colin?
Yeah, I gave it an 80. It's it's pretty striking. I like the pose. I like the sharpness of the eyes and the softness of the apple with the bite out of it. I think it's that's really quite dynamic. And I like the fact she's looking sort of slightly away from the camera. Creates a slightly more sort of mystical and sort of ominous kind of presence. So and nicely composed. I like the long ratio, and that's good. The only thing I would possibly observe on it is the bottom of the picture, the misty effect could have been a little bit more, like a bit more added to that to make that. I'm not sure whether that's mist or whether it's just a sort of a change of contrast on her top. But maybe a little bit more down the bottom there in terms of that sort of misty feel in the foreground, in front of the body. But otherwise, it's a very impactful image.
Thank you, Colin. Next up in portrait is the magistrate. The magistrate. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 83. And I believe Casey is up next.
Okay. I'm at 87 on this. I think this is an exquisite portrait. The classic lighting and classic nature of the portrait itself is off the charts amazing for me. I really think that, again, I'm struggling to see a flaw or a reason why this wouldn't be in the extraordinary or excellent category.
Are you challenging, Casey?
Yes, I will challenge the image. I'm at 87, and I would like to hear my fellow judges tell me why I'm wrong.
Craig?
You're probably not wrong. It is an exceptional image. I keep thinking this is Stanley Tucci in whatever movie he's going to be in next.
Yeah, it does look like I'm done that.
Yeah, I possibly can come up a few points for sure. A lot of I like the detail in the eyes, detail in the beard. Possibly it's maybe a little bit too brown or orange, but I understand that's the whole nature of this image. You're right. The lighting is very, very good. It's a stunning image.
And look, I'm happy to to go up as well. I think you're quite right in terms of the lighting and everything. The detail in there is phenomenal. From a personal perspective, the replication of the kind of the older artworks it's not. That's probably what scored it down for me. Is that I sort of prefer a sort of a more sort of dynamic, newer vision of the way they're presented. The outfit, the coloration, the texture, everything is superb, as Casey says. And I guess I'd be looking for slightly new interpretations of things rather than a representation of what's old. But from a purely photographic perspective, yeah, I'll be more than happy to move that score.
Okay.
In rebuttal, I will point out that my fellow judges used the words superb and stunning to describe this image, and I think that's 100% accurate. And let's rescore.
Okay,
It's
judges.
all right.
Judges, please rescore. Okay, scores are in. The final score is that an 88?
86.
86. I'm having a hard time seeing sixes tonight with my glasses for some reason.
They can be tricky.
86. Yeah.
Well done, Casey. Good for pulling us up.
Yes, thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
Okay, next image in portrait category is Serenity. Serenity. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is an 88. Craig, I believe you're.
No worries. I think I got the last one that was possibly in this same location. Again, what a fabulous place to have to go and work. Okay, the blue, the white, the soft colors, and then this beautiful form on top. They all work so well. I would have liked if maybe the light behind the sphere, if it was a little bit toned down on the right hand side compared to the left, so they were a bit more balanced. But that's just being picky. Man, I want to go here wherever this is. Yeah,
right.
exceptional image is what it is. I really love it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Next image in in portraiture is Black Like Me. Black Like Me. Judges, please score. Scores are in.
Scores of 90.
Scores a 90. Colin.
Yeah, I scored this an 88, and I think it is without doubt an excellent image. Very powerful, very representative. Really has a lot to say. I'm not entirely enamored with the grain. It's a bit too much, I think, on the grain and the noise. That would be what's dropped me down maybe a couple of points. But from a pose perspective, a crop perspective, and a visual storytelling perspective, it is an excellent image.
Thank you. Next up in portrait is Pink Champagne. Pink Champagne. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final score is a 78. Casey?
I was at 79 on this. This is a fun little portrait. I think that's a fun and terrific little pose. The subject is clearly enjoying it. I think the hair and the presentation work well together. Might be a little heavy-handed on the presentation. I wonder if it might have been more successful white with a pink key line. Yeah, key line. Yeah, might have been slightly more successful. I would have liked to have seen a little bit of sophistication with the lighting. It is very flat and straight on, and although that has a fashiony look to it, I'm not sure that works best with the model. It looks a little plain, and I think this should be more. It feels like it should be more fun, and I don't know, a little techniquey lighting might work well with this, as far as on the face and in her eyes. So 79, not quite merit, but very, very close.
Thanks for the comments, Casey. And the final image in the portrait category is Lady with the Hat. A lady with the hat. Judges score, please. Scores are in. Final score is an 85. Craig?
This is a good image. The hat as a prop really works. I actually like the highlights on the curve. I think that really well suits the image very well. The only thing I would suggest is maybe this is a case of, and you've got to be delicate here. You either need to smooth the skin a little bit more, or you leave it if that's what the client wants. If this is a personal image, personal project, I'd probably smooth her skin on her face a little bit. Otherwise, it's lovely. The lighting at the back, you've got a nice little feather around the back. Her hand, love the detail on her hand. Overall, just a great image. They've done a very good job here.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have 2 images for review. First up, the offering. The offering. No, that's not right,
No.
guys. It's right here. The offering. Remains the same. And the last one is pretty in pink. That's the wrong one too. So pretty in pink. Remains the same. Okay. Next category is wedding. Wedding. And the first image in wedding is in love. In love. Judges, please score. Okay, final score is
76.
76. Let's see, where did we leave off? Was it Colin that was last? Casey? Oh, it's you?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I've given this, say, 76. I appreciate that with wedding photography, and especially long trains on dresses, you've got to, get all that information in. But I think it's at odds with itself. It's got a very sort of dark, sort of gothic-y sort of feel, and it's called In Love. There seems to be a kind of a contradiction there between what it's trying to represent and the way it's being portrayed. And I think that sort of treatment is very heavy. It doesn't look particularly tack sharp, and whilst the angles are always going to lend itself to having that kind of lean on the building, I think it's so dramatic that it's very distracting from the subject matter. So hence why I think from me 76 is a fair call.
Thank you very much. And the final image in wedding and the final image of the competition is a princess. A princess. Judges, please score. Scores are in. Final
77.
Final score is a 77. 77. So let's see. I think is it Colin? Craig had it last time, wasn't it?
No, it's Casey's turn.
Oh, Casey? Okay.
Oh, okay. Teach me to not pay attention. I was at a 79 for this. I wanted to merit this as it turned around. I really like the separation from the background. The framing and composition is perfect for this image. The symmetry really works. The light on her face is lovely. Everything about her and her pose is just lovely. the bush on the left that being so out of focus and distracting is the lower bush on lower right corner. I said left, didn't I? Lower right corner.
Right.
And a little bit on the left, but mostly the right. It really works against the image somewhat. And I think that overall, if you tone the background down a little bit, especially some vignetting, subtle, soft vignetting, just to focus down on her a little bit, would have been very, very helpful. I would have been into the merit category for me. But as it looks right now, 79.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, judges, for all your great comments. I'm going to stop sharing the slideshow for now, and the people who are watching us online are going to be able to see you guys pick through the best of categories and come up with the best of show winners and have an engaging conversation, let's hope, about the images that should be the best of show. So let me stop the sharing of the slideshow. Okay, Kim, you can take it over.
Okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen. You're going to see all of the images that were best of category. What I'd like the judges to do is to tell me which ones to eliminate until you are down to your favorite one.
Can we drop out the commercial image in the upper left,
Okay.
guys? No, that was a question.
Well, Colin, yeah, they get the vote too. Yes,
Yeah.
Colin and Craig get the vote too. So,
Would you like that one back in?
Colin and Craig.
No, it's out now. I'm happy with that one out.
Okay.
I'm also no on the waterfall. We can drop that out for me.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Also the abstract in the upper left, I could do without.
Craig.
Yeah, that can go. I would, and possibly the spider can go as well.
Yep, I'm there with you on that.
I'm happy with the abstract, and when you look at the others, I'm happy with the spider to go.
Yeah. My choices in terms of 1, 2, 3 would be the one on the left is number 1, center is 2, and the image on the right is number 3. I'd probably get rid of number 3 next.
I'd go with that. I think number 3 out of those 3 to go.
Casey, what are your thoughts?
I would go 1, 3, 2, looking from left to right. But
Okay.
yeah. But I am movable. I'm not super strong that way. I think there are 3 very strong images.
Very strong images.
Yeah. I think all of us are one with the one image on the left. It sounds
correct. Sounds like it. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get rid of this one, and we have our best of show.
Fantastic.
So congratulations on that one. That one is Village Sun by Jerry Stevens.
Very cool. Very cool.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jerry. Another
Well
winner.
done, Jerry. Yeah, well done.
Yay.
Hey, he was on watching earlier, so I don't know if he's still there or not. Okay, well, thank you very much, Colin and Craig, for judging tonight. We had some great comments on the images, and you're coming from a long way to help us out here. We do appreciate it. And as Craig, you judged for us in the past, and Colin, it was great to have you. You had a lot of great information, a lot of great detail and stuff. And Casey, as always, we love you. You're a member of the family, so our extended arm in Washington. So we need you to stay smoke free and be okay up there, and you guys too in Australia. So I don't know how the COVID situation is there, but we really do appreciate you coming on with us tonight, and we wish you a good day, right? Because it is like afternoon there, right? So
yeah, 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. So
on Thursday.
Yeah, day ahead of us. So tell me what happens tomorrow. All right. Well, I'm going to end our webinar and stuff. And thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We do appreciate it. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you, all the judges and all the support staff in the background with Bruce and Annette and Kim and everybody else who helped us out. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was good
All
judging
right.
with you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
See ya.